Hey y'all, welcome back to DiamondTrail Ranch. Today we're going to talk about an absolute classic slash staple in the orchard. It's going to be the peach tree. I have 3 of them. I'm going to show you them. They were planted here about 5 to 6 months ago, I would say now. And they've been through a little bit of everything: heat, humidity, fungus, leaf curl, you name it. It's even with all of that though, they're finally starting to bounce back, honestly. So I wanted to share kind of everything more or less that I've learned along the way, so you guys can grow your own healthy peach trees at home, because it's the ultimate care guide, right? So we're going to talk about varieties real quick, because that makes a big difference too in the very beginning. If you are in a warm climate like Florida or the deep south in general, or zone 9 or 10, I'd say there's some big, spread out areas. Picking the right variety is everything. Not all peaches handle heat and humidity the same way, and most people don't realize that. Here's number 1 right here. Use some close-ups on it for you. This one was actually the worst off one that I had. I still have some new growth coming in, even though, it's probably 82 degrees right now, 83. At the beginning of November here in zone 10A. My second one that's a little bit further along is going to be this one here. They're actually kind of tiered that way. That's funny. And lime. So this one is further along than the first one. You see the new growth there. I don't see any fungus. Maybe actually right there. I'm going to zoom in real close. I don't know if you can see that or not. That is copper fungicide. I'm sorry, not copper fungicide. That's a fungus on these two. So you pick them off. And really, that's just pruning. So that's the second one there. Look for low chill varieties. Those are bred specifically for warmer climates. Some really good varieties are Tropic Beauties, the Florida Prince, the UF Sun, what else? And the Tropic Snow comes to mind. They don't need long winters to set fruit, and they do great down here in zones 9 and 10. This guy I staked up because of the way it grew off to the side. So you can see that was new growth that shot off to the side. So I said, all right, hang on a minute. I need to stake this guy down to stand it up straight. And after this video, I was out here yesterday. You wouldn't believe it. This fungus is so fresh. You know what causes that? Before I jump ahead on you guys, it's the weather. When it gets any rain or the sprinkler system hits overhead and the moisture sits on these leaves. So that's how you avoid that. Copper fungicide is the absolute easy fix for this. So anyway, when we planted ours, we dig these wide holes, right? You want to do about twice the width of the root ball, and you worked in I would use aged horse compost if you have it, native soil, sand, or perlite, for drainage. Peaches do love well draining soil, but they still need organic matter to hold moisture. They hate sitting in soggy soil. That's how root rot starts. Thankfully, you can tell based on our growth, we do not have root rot. So make sure you got a spot that drains really well. If not, you can put it up, about 6 or so inches above the ground level to help it kind of, when it rains, to run down more or less. You also want to add some mulch around the base, leaving a few inches of space from the trunk, preferably so it doesn't rot like I did over here on this guy. This middle one is a better example there. For the first few months, you're going to water every other day, especially during dry weeks. Now that they've settled in, we water them about twice a week, depending on the weather. Peach trees like consistent moisture, but not standing water. For fertilizer, I actually use a citrus blend. You can use fruit tree blends in general. They're both, 646 or 839. You'll see that on your bags. It's the same way that we use for citrus and loquats. You sprinkle it around the drip lines. If you have those, I would say about every 6 or so weeks. You can also use compost tea, which we have, or worm casting, which you can grab at any big box store. If you don't have super dark soil, which is okay, that's perfectly fine. That's if you don't have it, you can get it at your big stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart garden section, any of the big ones. I will say peaches have been the biggest learning curve as far as the orchard goes, because they love humidity, and here's the problem: so does fungus. And I just showed you this, the second one and the third one there both had fungus on them. And if you don't catch that early, it will get your entire plant, and you'll end up having to prune the whole thing and basically start over on the leaves. So spray it with copper fungicide when the sun is down, or super early in the morning before the sun comes up, because it can burn the leaves. I actually I have another video on that fig tree over there. It's completely reset. I bought it completely fungused up, and I said, you know what, I can fix that. So anyway, same thing applies to these peach trees here. Just because you start seeing fungus, it's okay. Don't freak out. Stay calm. You spray them every few weeks during the warm, wet months, especially after rain. If you see leaves start to pucker during the warm, wet months, it could be a fungal issue, especially if they're turning red or orange. You want to go just remove the bad leaves, dispose of them, and please do not drop them in place and compost them. Spray them immediately or that same day. Prune branches that are crossing or too dense. We don't have any of that going on. These are 3 very young peach trees. Prune the branches, the leaves and the branches for the airflow. Again, that's your best friend against fungus. So peach trees grow fast and need yearly pruning to stay healthy. You want to prune them in early spring before they bloom, and again lightly in the summer if growth gets wild. The goal is to keep an open center or a vase shape. See how they're kind of V'd up from the base, V'd up. That one's got a very interesting V because it's like it took the graft to the left, even though it's not a grafted peach tree, but you know what I mean. It shot up to the left and kind of created its own V to the right. So it's got a vase going on, but there's enough airflow on it. I'm not worried about it. If you prune it right, you'll get stronger limbs, like that big strong one there. They'll be able to hold more fruit and with stronger limbs, and they'll have fewer disease problems. You want to cut out any of the inward growth in the springtime, okay? Thin out the crowded spots. So, after about 5 or 6 months in the ground, our trees are finally looking strong again. Like I mentioned at the start, they battled a few diseases and still are. It's hot, man. It's November. It's in the 80s. It's funny, and next week, actually, it's going to be like 38 degrees here. So we're back and forth here. The new growth is going to look green and healthy, like you can see. You can just see this is the progress here. So if your young peach trees ever look rough, don't give up on them. They are resilient. Cut away what's damaged, treat it, feed it, and they'll surprise you with how fast they recover. Depending on the variety you do get, you might see your first bloom in years 2 or 3. I did see a couple of flowers on these earlier, but they never did. They're really, really, really small. So I expect next year, most likely, to at least see some peaches, possibly. Low chill peaches love, that heat. So I will say there's varieties that, like Florida Prince, that can bloom even earlier if you find those. If they're happy, when you see blossoms, it's good to thin them out. Tiny peaches that form later, too many fruits will weigh that bad boy down. The branches make the trees weak. You don't want that. Leave about 1 fruit every 4 to 6 inches so the left can grow. So the ones that are left can grow big and juicy. Honestly, that's really it. To keep them healthy, happy peach trees from start to finish. And if you're just getting started, you got to be patient with them. Peaches are worth the effort once they hit their stride. A little pruning, the right fertilizer, fungicide if you need to. I will say, out of everything on our orchard, the peaches are I've had to treat the most often. Them and the blackberries, which is ironic, but it's okay. If this video has helped you at all, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more homestead gardening and orchard videos. We try to get them out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Plus we do daily shorts of general life here around DiamondTrail Ranch with our goats, chickens, horses, you name it. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, Good soil makes everything grow better.